talk a little bit about a vision for GIS and how it can be applied in the future. One area that is especially interesting to me is the use of GIS technology to be able to open the world of mapping and geographic science to everyone. Not just GIS professionals, but our children and our children's children, but also, interestingly enough, to my own parents. Being able to share for them, for the first time in many years, what it is I do for a living has been something that's been interesting and only available in the last couple of years, as they've been able to use the internet and see the maps and see the information that you share. She now can understand what her child actually does. So thank you. One of the things that attracted me to geography as a discipline to study in the university was how it allowed us to explore and describe our world. Famous geographers throughout history have had an impact on all of us, I believe. They've been discoverers, but they've also been great storytellers. They've used location as a way to entice us to learn more about our globe. This is something that has been one of the passions that drove me into this career. They create for us, I think, a better understanding, and they give us a language that we can use to share. Now, in the last 50 years or so, a new kind of geography, or a part of geography, has really grown, and that's computational geography. The use of computers and maps in geographic science. And there's been many thought leaders who have driven this new market. They sought to actually do a new kind of exploration, an exploration that harnessed the power of a computer to be able to store information and analyze that information, to discover patterns and trends that weren't so obvious before computers. I think actually in the past several years, GIS has actually advanced the science of geography in many ways. It has led to better measurement, better qualification, quantification, analysis, and modeling capabilities. It is transforming how geography is used in business and how geography is used to enhance the way we do our jobs. And I think it's actually opening up our world to a new type of exploration, a multi-sensoral exploration involving satellites and humans, devices all around the planet measuring everything. This is the promise of geography and GIS in the future. But there's actually still much work and much discovery that needs to happen. And there are many geographic problems to solve, from understanding human population and how to support it in a sustainable way, to understanding the impacts of that growth on environment and how it's changing our environment, and also to understand globalization and the shifts in urbanization as we move back into cities and then spread out from cities into areas that had never before been developed. To do these things, we need a better way of understanding our impacts and what we are going to need from our Earth and what we're going to give back and protect about our Earth. And I think GIS is actually already organizing our information. And now I think what we need to do is we must share and extend these systems to support everyone, not just the people in this room, but the people throughout Brazil and throughout the world. When we share our information and our knowledge, we enable others to build upon that work, a foundation as Aeneas put out in his vision. Once that foundation exists, others will do their work, and we will set forward something very special in the future. We will be setting the foundation for the future generations to be able to use GIS and the power of geography based on your work. This is actually what excites me and brings me to work every day. It's the idea and the ideal that geography and GIS can actually make a difference. You may ask yourself, is this possible on a global scale? I've given you many examples. I've shown you examples of people and our colleagues all over the world who are doing good work with GIS technology. Can we move from thousands of people doing good work, to hundreds of thousands, to millions, and to billions. Let me try to offer some additional ideas on that. First of all, I think many forces are converging right now. This is a very interesting time in our technology landscape. Computing and networks are evolving very quickly. From cloud computing to devices that we carry around, such as the iPhone or the Android or the plain old mobile phone, computational power is increasing exponentially. Our ability to measure is increasing exponentially. From satellites that provide almost consistent coverage of every planet, every part of this planet, to being able to allow mobile devices to consistently know where they are with higher and higher degrees of accuracy. GIS software is also evolving with stronger data modeling, stronger modeling, and actually easier, hopefully, to use technologies. This will enable these things to come together. Geographic science. I think many people now are understanding that geography and mapping is something that they should be interested in. Maps are something that cross all cultural and human boundaries. Maps are something that we can put down in front of anybody and they can immediately understand. They can see for themselves what it is we're trying to convey. Our languages express things and require translation. Maps require no translation. Maps are a universal tool for communicating. And lastly, this notion of open data policies. Governments and organizations providing free access to their information, sharing it openly so that others can build upon their good work. All of these things I would suggest to you are converging now in a way that they've never converged before. This is going to be important for our profession and for how we leverage the knowledge that we have about geography, geographic science, and technology. I think if I could step back for just a moment, I see your work as building that geographic knowledge base. From the different organizations that you represent, you're sharing data amongst yourselves. Within your organization, some of you are sharing information throughout other organizations. You're publishing maps. You're publishing applications. You're developing collaborative ways of working together. You work on this piece of data, I'll work on this piece, and we'll share it. And now we have a commonality. We're not duplicating our efforts. We're making the most out of our individual investments and bringing those together. That's powerful. And that's why friendships and relationships are so important in the geographic community. If you think about it, a new web-based geospatial platform is emerging. This notion of the web, the internet, being a tool to allow people to share information more and more seamlessly. Being able to publish your information, your maps and your applications out so others can build applications and leverage your maps into their applications. This is something that's very exciting. It's sort of a distributed network of data and services. Now, this is very interesting for the sense that it's creating a new generation of geo applications. It's being created by people who aren't geographers. It's being created by people who are creating the next future of business, the small business. Here's an example from a small company of 4 people called CitySourced. They work with cities around the world to enable citizens to use their iPhones or their Androids or their mobile phones to report information. Hey, there's a pothole here. Let me tell somebody. There's a traffic signal that's not working. There's a suspicious activity. All that information is now being rallied back and coordinated and collaborated with the city. It's allowing the city to turn citizens into sensors. It's allowing them to react better and provide better services to their constituents. That's what government's about. Working with the people and supporting the people. It's about safety. It's about public service. And GIS and these new kinds of applications are supporting that.